Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. Imagine you're at a coffee shop. You glance at the menu. Small coffee, medium, large. You pick the medium, feeling smart, balanced. But what if that choice wasn't really yours? What if the menu was designed to steer you subtly, predictably? Dan Ariely, a pioneering behavioral economist, cracked open this unsettling truth in his groundbreaking book, Predictably Irrational. He reveals that our decisions, even the most personal ones, are not always driven by logic, but by hidden forces we rarely even notice. We like to believe we're rational beings, weighing pros and cons, always choosing what's best for us. But Ariely proves we are anything but. Our irrationality isn't random, it's systematic. It follows patterns so precise, they're predictable. And the first, most insidious pattern is our obsession with relativity. We rarely know the absolute value of anything. Is that expensive watch truly worth it? Is a new car really a good deal? Our brains don't have an internal price tag. Instead, we constantly compare. We need a benchmark. Think about a magazine subscription offer. You see three options. Digital only, $60. Print only, $120. Digital and print, $120. Most people given these choices would jump for the digital and print for $120. Why? Because the print only for $120 acts as a decoy. It makes the combined offer seem like an incredible steal. You get more for the same price. Without that decoy, the choice between $60 digital and $120 for both would be much harder. But the decoy clears the path, making one option shine. This isn't just about subscriptions. It's about choosing houses, jobs, even partners. We look at the salary of a colleague to judge our own. We compare our car to a neighbor's. We are hardwired to evaluate everything in context. This drive to compare can lead us astray, making us focus on slight differences between similar options, while completely ignoring radically different and potentially better paths that are harder to compare directly. We're so busy comparing the apples to the slightly shinier apples that we forget there are oranges, bananas, and a whole fruit salad out there. The cost of free. What's more powerful than a good deal? A free deal. Ariely calls this the zero price effect, and it's pure magic, or madness, depending on how you look at it. Free isn't just a price point, it's an emotional trigger. When something is free, its value doesn't just drop to zero, it explodes. Our brains perceive free as having no downside, no risk. It becomes irresistible, often overriding our common sense. Consider an experiment. Imagine you have two choices. A Hershey's Kiss, 1 cent. A premium Lindt truffle, 15 cents. Most people would wisely choose the delicious Lindt truffle. It's clearly better value for just 14 cents more. Now, let's change the prices. A Hershey's Kiss, free. A premium Lindt truffle, 14 cents. The price difference is still the same, 14 cents. But suddenly, almost everyone flocks to the free Hershey's Kiss. The lure of free transforms a logical decision into an impulsive grab. We forgo a better product for the sheer thrill of getting something for nothing, even if that something is ultimately less desirable. This irrational pull of free explains why we hoard things we don't need, sign up for services we won't use, and brave insane lines for a freebie. It's not about the item's inherent worth, It's about the psychological power of that single, irresistible word. The clash of worlds, market versus social norms. Beyond prices and comparisons, Ariely uncovers another profound source of our predictable irrationality: the invisible boundary between market norms and social norms. Market norms are about money, transactions, and explicit payment. You do a job, you get paid. Simple. Social norms are about favors, community, and mutual goodwill. You help a friend move, they owe you a favor, not a check. These two worlds are meant to operate separately. But what happens when they collide? Chaos. Imagine you ask a friend to help you move. What do you give them? Probably a thank you, maybe buy them pizza, offer to help them in return. But would you ever offer to pay them $50? No, that would feel awkward, even insulting. It shifts the interaction from a social favor to a cheap transaction, eroding the goodwill. Ariely ran experiments where people were asked to do a simple task. Some were paid a small sum, $5. Some were offered a small gift, a chocolate bar. And some were simply asked as a favor. The people who were paid $5 performed efficiently. The people asked for a favor also performed well, often even better, driven by a sense of helpfulness. But the group offered a small gift, they performed worse than both. Why? The tiny gift, like the chocolate, subtly pushed the interaction from the social world into the market world. Once a token of payment was introduced, their brains switched from, "I'm helping a friend," to, "I'm being paid for this, and this payment is pretty pathetic." The intrinsic motivation of social goodwill was extinguished by the meager market offering. This explains so much. It clarifies why charging a small fine for late daycare pickups can actually increase lateness. Parents now see it as a fee they can pay, not a social transgression. It's why volunteers can feel offended if offered a token payment. Introducing market norms into a social exchange doesn't just add to the motivation, it often replaces it, and not always for the better. The problem of procrastination and instant gratification. We all know the feeling. The alarm blares, and our future self, who promised to wake up early and exercise, is nowhere to be found. Instead, our present self hits the snooze button. This is the battle between our planner self and our doer self. The planner self sets ambitious goals, save for retirement, eat healthy, finish that daunting project. The doer self, however, lives only in the now, seeking immediate comfort and avoiding present pain. This explains why we meticulously plan our finances for a new gadget we want now, but consistently undersave for something abstract and far off, like retirement. The reward feels too distant for the doer self to care. Ariely's solution isn't more willpower, it's pre-commitment. Recognize your doer self will betray your planner self and build fences to stop it. This means setting up automatic savings deductions, creating self-imposed deadlines with real consequences, or even making it physically harder to engage in bad habits. Instead of relying on sheer mental strength, which is a finite resource, we need to design our environment to nudge us towards better choices. We need to lock our future self into the decisions our rational planner self made today. It's about outsmarting our own predictable tendency to choose instant gratification over long-term well-being, the path to smarter choices. So, what does it mean to be predictably irrational? It means our minds are not perfectly logical calculators. They are influenced by context, emotions, and the subtle cues in our environment. But this isn't a sentence to eternal flawed decision-making. Understanding these predictable irrationalities gives us power. We can't change human nature, but we can change the architecture of choice around us. We can remove the decoys from our path, consciously separate social and market interactions, and build systems that pre-commit us to our long-term goals. It's about designing a world and personal habits that work with our irrational wiring rather than fighting against it. It's about being more mindful, not necessarily more logical. Dan Ariely's work is a profound invitation to look in the mirror, not with judgment, but with clarity, to see our delightful, frustrating, and utterly human flaws not as random errors, but as predictable patterns. And in that recognition, we can begin to make choices that truly serve our deepest intentions, not just our fleeting impulses. The true insight isn't that we're broken, but that we're beautifully, predictably human. And once we understand that, a world of smarter decisions opens up. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, tap the bell, and join the Booksbox family as we explore powerful ideas, one book at a time. Catch even more great ideas on our podcast. The link's in the description. Until next time, keep reading and growing.